What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Club and Country. This is episode number 84, and we're starting today just off with a brief little league table. As you can see, 3 games to go in the season, 3 points clear of Liverpool, 7 clear of the Red Devils as well, and we've both got a game in hand on Jurgen Klopp's side. So we know, based on the goal difference swing, you'd say that realistically 2 wins in 3 will be enough to see us crowned champions. But if you want to play devil's advocate mathematically to guarantee the Premier League title, 7 points from 9, 2 wins and a draw, and it is ours. And on the back of our win against Sparta Prague to take us through to our first ever European final against Roma in the Europa League Final, now taking on Fulham here, right down the bottom of the table. 3 games to go, a favourable end to the season for Newport County, you would say. Win this game here, our penultimate home game of the campaign, and you'd surely say this title is going to be ours. 10 minutes into the game, we had the perfect start. Ravi Matondo scored his 28th of the year to give us the early advantage, and really right from the first whistle in this game, I was like, I don't want to leave this to chance, you know, I really don't. The sooner I get this done, the quicker I can celebrate. I just want this championship so badly, and 22 minutes in, the boy does it once again. Ravi Matondo hurdling the corner flag, doubling our lead, 2-0 up in South Wales. And in a really controlled first half, we had the cushion we were looking for. So 2-0 up on Fulham, and in the second half, still leading by those 2 goals here. We knew again, goal difference really, I can't see it separating the title, I really can't. And because we're so far in front of Liverpool, 10 goals clear, it would take a monumental collapse for goal difference to mean that much. So we didn't need more goals, but I thought psychologically more than anything, they would be helpful. 60 minutes in, Gavin Humphreys makes it 3-0 Newport County. And at this point, I knew we were going to win one of the 2 we needed in our final 3. Fulham would get a goal back though. Jay Stansfield got another one. He scored against me in the reverse fixture. Craven Coach scores here as well. Lloyd Payne was sent walking there from the young forward. It's 3-1, but I was never really in any danger of throwing away the points in this game. I often talk about it as well, when the AI play like a really high press as well, if you're composed enough and focused enough, you should be able to work the ball around them, get chances on the break as well. And with just under 10 minutes to go, it's safe to say it was party time in South Wales. Isaac Davis sent through one-on-one. And what does he do? Skillfully rolls the ball across for the cutback. And Gavin Humphreys with the Rabona goal puts it into the unguarded net. Makes it 4-1 Newport County and wraps the points up in style. Party time in South Wales. Job done at Rodney Parade, courtesy of the dynamic duo. And following the game, oh my goodness, can I just say, after Liverpool's slip up, 2 games to go, 6 points to gap, and a better goal difference swing as well, it was basically over. And it's so funny because I didn't think that was going to happen. After the Fulham game, I was like, yes, got the 1 of the 2 I needed. And I was like, oh, I don't really need any more points now. So you'd think Liverpool would have to win back-to-back in the last 2, and we'd have to lose back-to-back, and it need to be a big goal difference swing of well over 10 as well. Simply put, I couldn't see that happening. All we needed mathematically was 1 point in our final 2 games now to be Premier League champions, and surely, I talked about it in an earlier episode, it would be the worst bottle of all time if I wasn't going to win silverware this season with the positions we are in so recently in Europe and in the Premier League as well. But now I knew for sure I wasn't going to throw it away. Final game at home this season, Aston Villa. The title seemed like it was already in the bag. The engraving was about to be put on. All we needed was 1 point in this game at Rodney Parade. But I've talked about Aston Villa before. They're a bit of a bogey team for me in this year's FIFA, and they took the lead as well. They are in no mood for a party atmosphere at Rodney Parade. They had the early advantage. They went 1 goal up, and I was thinking, look, the fact of the matter is we could probably lose both games and still be champions, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to win the title by losing back-to-back in our final home game as well. So we got back on level terms courtesy of you-know-who in the first half. Ravi Matondo's 30th of the year found us a leveller, and then 64 minutes in, still tied at 1-1, looking to get back in front. Oh, this was so good to see. Sorry, in front for the first time even. Dan James, first game back since the lengthy injury. How does he mark it? Steps in from the left, bends it into the far corner and gets a goal on his return from injury. 2-1, Newport County have a lead for the first time in the game. At this point, I knew the engraver could start his work. The trophy was going to be ours come the full-time whistle. And how'd you wrap it up? Oh, mate, this was absolutely poetic. 18 minutes to go. He runs all the way to me to celebrate on the sidelines. Super Gavin Humphreys with a thunderbolt. Who was the man that assisted him? Ben Davis. Future assisted by past. Newport County 3, Aston Villa 1. And after Aaron Lewis, the only Newport County OG, had the final kick at Rodney Parade this season, just launching the ball away as the final whistle was blown, it was over. We came from behind to win. Newport County, Premier League champions. And there it is, boys. There it is. We've done it. And I'm really to feel as well, like recently, if we weren't to do it this season, I mean, it would have been the worst bottle of all time. I talked about it. We were so far in front. We had those favourable draws in the Europa League. These scenes here, Newport County, Premier League champions. If I didn't deliver it this season, with the start we had and the point separation we had and the Europa League draws that we got, which, let's be honest here, with no disrespect to Sparta Prague and Stade Rennais, who, to be fair, especially in Stade Rennais' case, really pushed me very, very hard. I really feel I would have bottled it completely, but instead we deliver our first major honour of the save. 6 seasons it took to do it, but finally it's done. Newport County have won a major honour, and it's the Premier League. Absolutely delighted, and I often talk about it. This is what makes RTGs just so special. You know, the early years, the foundation years, where you're laying down the groundwork and you're not quite sure how it's going to pan out, but you know at some point it'll all work out in the end. This is when you can sit back and say, it's done. It's over. A game to go. Liverpool slipped up again, so the gap is now 9. That's incredible. We could have lost back to back. It's so funny because I came in to this episode here. I was like, right, 3 games to go. It should be ours, but I've got to make sure I'm concentrating. I've got to make sure I'm on my game. I've got to make sure I deliver the results. And in the end, I could have lost back to back, and I still would have been champions, but doesn't matter in the end. We did our job, and in the end, we are Premier League champions. Absolutely buzzing, absolutely delighted, but the season's not over, because whilst the final game of the campaign was going to be the final Premier League game of the season, away against Brighton, who they themselves might have needed to win in order to stay up on the final day. You would have seen by my lineup there, it was a totally rotated and weaker first 11, and the reason being is quite simple. This game came on the Sunday, and on Wednesday night, we had the Europa League Final against Roma as we go for a magical League and European double in this, our 6th season at Rodney Parade. So against Brighton, I was like, listen, Graham Potter, mate, I know you want to stay in the Premier League. If you've ever got a chance to do it, it's now. You've never had a better chance to stay in the Premier League than this one on the final day. I've just got a bunch of reserves out there, man, just to make sure that my first team are fit enough for the Wednesday night clash. And we fell 2 goals down inside the first 26 minutes as well. Vlasic wrapping up this really nice move, to be fair, from the Seagulls to make it 2-0. And, you know, sometimes you guys ask me, you know, like, how do you cope, like, playing all the games in a very, very long season when you've got cups, European football, and, of course, the league as well? And I often talk about it. I just feel, you know, like, it's not necessarily a realism thing, but I just like to do it. Some people prefer to simulate every now and then. Some people simulate meaningless games. Some people simulate a lot of the season. It's okay. If you want to do that, that's totally fine. If you want to play the game that way, it's totally fine. You bought the game, you spent your hard-earned money on it, you play the game however you want. But to me, I just like to play every single game, including this one. We got battered 4-0. Maybe I should have simulated it, to be fair, but even so, our reserves on the final day absolutely dominated by the Seagulls. But I wasn't really one bit bothered because we'd done our job. We were already Premier League champions. With a game against Roma in the Europa League Final on Wednesday night, this meant absolutely nothing to me whatsoever. So there's the final league table, and 25 wins in 38, 85 goals scored, and a 6-point gap on Liverpool as we were champions. The Reds, Everton and Manchester United going into the Champions League with us for next season. The only concern for me this season was the 51 goals conceded. We were the second worst defensive team in the top 8 this year. The reason we won the title was not our back line, but going forward, Ravi Matondo, back-to-back Golden Boot winner, back-to-back 30-plus goal seasons. Gavin Humphreys also had the second most amount of goals, and they also top 2 in both goals and assists as well. Lloyd, by the way, in the top 5 with 10 assists and 32. That's pretty decent for our third man option up top there. But even so, it was the goals this season that won us the title. I know that sounds very obvious, but it was our attacking prowess that saw us over the line in the end. Newport County champions. And again, I really felt midway through the season that it was going to be our year this year. We would win something, whether it was the Premier League or the FA Cup or the Europa League. We were going to win something this year. I just felt it in my bones. You know, as Payne, Matondo and Humphreys were the only 3 representatives we had in the team of the season this year. I just felt we'd win something. I felt very, very confident this year. Even though there were some nervy moments, I still believe we'd win something. We have now. The Premier League is in the cabinet, but the season's not done. Finale of Season 6 coming out in the very next episode. It's the Europa League Final, our first ever European final. Whatever happens, it'll be a successful season at Rodney Parade, our first major honour in the cabinet, but we can wrap up an amazing League and European double with a win over Roma in the Europa League Final. Can we do it? Let's find out. Well, that will end today's episode of Club and Country, guys. Big fan of watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the season finale of Season 6 Europa League Final versus Roma very soon.